Hey there, welcome to LSAT Demon Daily. I'm Eric Johansson, a teacher with LSAT Demon. Joining me is Nathan Fox, founder of LSATdemon.com and weekly podcast Thinking LSAT. We got an email from Parker with the subject, Applying with Different Scores.
Dear Demon Team, I'm grateful for the work you do to make the LSAT understandable and less intimidating. Today, I got my first score back, which, thanks to you all, was a 171. I'm happy with it, but my practice tests are in the mid-170s, so I know I can do better. I'm signed up for the October LSAT and already have most of my writing done for my applications, so I can focus on studying for the LSAT. With a 3.99 GPA, I'm at or above the 75th percentile LSAT and GPA for about half my schools, which are listed here as UGA, that's Georgia, Vanderbilt, etc., and at or below LSAT medians, while above GPA medians for the other half of schools on my list, like Duke and UVA. Since you all talk about diminishing returns above the 75th percentile of medians, I could apply to my lower tier schools with my current stats and wait to apply to my more selective schools, could I apply with my lower tier schools with my current stats and wait to apply to my more selective schools with my October score? That way, I'll benefit from applying as early as possible for my lower tier schools while still being relatively early with my more selective schools, provided my score improves. Thanks for your time. Cheers, Parker. Okay, I got a bunch of things to say for Parker, but I'm going to let you have first crack.
Yeah, I'm just going to quickly, this is an LR exercise for me. I'm just going to quickly recap to make sure that I understand the situation.
Yep.
171, which is above medians at some schools, but not all. I know I can do better, but if I don't need the better score for some schools, do I just apply to those right now and apply to the higher ranked schools later when I have my better score?
Yeah, and the direct answer, I would just say, sure, fine, go ahead. You're not going to get denied at schools like UGA and Vanderbilt with a 3.99 and a 171. And the fact that you get your application in early might be attractive enough to them that they start trying to make a scholarship offer to you right at the beginning of the cycle. And I don't see how it possibly hurts you to apply early. But I'll give you a caveat, which is they're going to see that you're registered for the October LSAT. And sometimes what schools do is they'll just hold your application until that new score comes in anyway. And they do that just by default. So they might not even think about like, oh, well, he already has a score that's above my 75th percentile. Why the hell would I wait? I could just give him a scholarship now. They might just have a policy, which is if somebody is registered for an LSAT, we kick the decision down the road and wait until that new LSAT comes in. So you're not going to get any benefit, Parker, if that's their policy. But that might not be the policy at some schools. So I would say you're probably good to fire those applications to those schools where 171 is already going to be great at those schools.
Yeah, I agree. Sounds like a fine plan. And if you have a higher LSAT score to negotiate scholarships in the spring, cool. You might not be seeing your scholarship offers until the spring at some of these schools anyways, and you certainly wouldn't be negotiating them until the spring. I am a little worried about this advice, about some listeners hearing this advice and taking it too far in their own different scenarios. Like, oh, that means it's okay to apply early, understanding that later on in the cycle I will get a higher score. I think we're okaying this for Parker specifically because the current score is above medians, right? But a similar scenario, well, I'll apply early. My current score is below the median, but I know that on the next test attempt, I can get above the median. That's not what we're talking about. That's dangerous because they might just deny you before they see your later score.
Right, because other schools have a different policy, which is we don't even care if you're registered for another LSAT. When your application comes in, we inbox zero that shit and we just evaluate the application right away. Now, I don't know what the policies are at any particular school. And by the way, those policies can change from year to year anyway. So If you're 171, though, if that's below the median at UVA, then yeah, maybe it's better not to apply to, maybe you don't want to show up with a less than the median LSAT at a school like UVA. So if you want to hold your applications until after that retake in October, I think that that's probably fine. You also, though, Parker, could consider just waiting until the beginning of the next cycle when you've actually got your very best LSAT, and then just apply at the beginning of the cycle to all of your schools. That's kind of a lower stress way to deal with this.
Totally. Anything else for Parker?
Yeah, Parker, a couple times you said things like the 75th percent of medians. And like, I don't want to be a dick about it, but I just want to point out that median means 50th percentile. So there's the 75th percentile, and then there's the 50th percentile, which is also known as the median. There is no such thing as 75th percent of medians. Also, Parker's from the South. Parker wanted to say y'all, desperately wanted to say y'all a couple times in this email, and said you all instead. And I just want you to know that you're in a y'all friendly space here, and you can say y'all anytime you want.
Indeed.
Thanks for writing in, Parker.
Thanks, Parker. Email daily@lsatdemon.com if you'd like to ask us a question or share some LSAT or law school admissions news. Thanks for listening.